She was crying at the altar until the millionaire guy walked in and said, "I will marry you." Imagine standing at the altar, your heart pounding, as hundreds of eyes watch you wait for someone who isn't coming. The room feels suffocating, the whispers growing louder with every passing second. For Emma Thompson, this nightmare became a reality on what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. She stood there in her grandmother's pearls and a gown that had been months in the making, tears streaming down her face, thinking she'd never recover from the humiliation. But just when it seemed like all hope was lost, something extraordinary happened, something no one saw coming. A man walked into the bridal suite. Not just any man, but Ethan Carter, Liam's older brother, a billionaire known more for his icy demeanor than his warmth. And with 3 words, he turned Emma's world upside down. "I will marry you." This isn't just another love story. It's a tale of unexpected twists, raw emotions, and choices that change lives forever. At its core, it's about 2 people, thrown together by fate, trying to navigate a situation neither asked for, but both secretly wanted in ways they couldn't admit. At least not yet. Emma is an artist, passionate and independent, who believed she had found her happily ever after with Liam, the charming younger Carter brother. Meanwhile, Ethan has always been the enigmatic figure in the background, watching Emma from afar, admiring her talent and spirit, even as he kept his distance. When Liam abandons Emma at the altar, Ethan steps in, offering a marriage of convenience. But what starts as a pragmatic arrangement soon evolves into something far deeper and more complicated. The tension between them is palpable right from the start. You can see it in the way Ethan looks at Emma, like he's seeing through her carefully constructed walls, straight into her soul. And then there's Emma, torn between gratitude and confusion, unsure if she should trust this man who has barely spoken 10 words to her before today. Their chemistry crackles beneath the surface, simmering under layers of doubt and unspoken feelings. It's clear that Ethan isn't doing this out of obligation alone. He has his own reasons, ones that hint at a past filled with longing and restraint. As the guests murmur outside, unaware of the drama unfolding behind closed doors, Emma finds herself agreeing to Ethan's proposal, setting off a chain reaction of events that neither could have predicted. What makes this story so compelling is how real it feels. These aren't perfect characters living in some idealized fairy tale. They're flawed, vulnerable, and deeply human. Emma struggles with self-doubt, wondering if she's being foolish to trust Ethan after everything she's been through. Ethan, on the other hand, carries the weight of years of pent-up emotions, terrified of losing control, but unable to stay away from Emma. Together, they create a dynamic that's equal parts intense and tender, leaving viewers eager to know what happens next. Will Emma discover the truth about Ethan's long-standing admiration for her? Can she forgive him for the secrets he's kept hidden? And most importantly, will their marriage of necessity transform into something genuine? As the day unfolds, we see glimpses of the storm brewing between them. There's the moment during the ceremony when Ethan kisses Emma, a kiss meant to seal the act, but instead ignites something neither expected. Then there's the private elevator ride back to Ethan's penthouse, where the air feels charged with unsaid words and simmering attraction. Every scene builds on the tension, pulling us deeper into their world. We learn about Ethan's private art collection, pieces chosen not for investment, but for passion, reflecting a side of him few have ever seen. And we witness Emma's strength as she navigates this bizarre new reality, clinging to her independence, while grappling with the undeniable pull she feels toward her new husband. But just when things seem to settle into a rhythm, the cracks begin to show. Secrets come to light, old wounds reopen, and external forces threaten to tear them apart. Liam reappears, spinning a web of lies designed to drive a wedge between Emma and Ethan. Sophia Moretti, Ethan's former flame, enters the picture, her presence a reminder of the polished, calculated world Ethan once inhabited. And throughout it all, Emma must confront the biggest question of all. Is Ethan's interest in her genuine? Or is she merely a pawn in his game? The answers lie buried beneath layers of mistrust and fear, forcing both characters to confront truths they've long avoided. Despite the challenges, there are moments of pure magic scattered throughout their journey, like the rainy afternoon at Ethan, matching the storm inside them, laughter breaking through the tension, revealing a softer side of him Emma hadn't dared to imagine. Or the quiet mornings at the lake house, where the rest of the world fades away, leaving only the two of them and the fragile connection they're building piece by piece. These moments remind us why we root for them, why we believe in the possibility of love, even when logic tells us it's impossible. By the time the credits roll on this part of their story, you'll find yourself hanging on to every word, desperate to know what comes next. Because while Emma and Ethan may have started as strangers, bound by circumstance, they quickly become so much more. Their relationship is messy, unpredictable, and achingly real, a testament to the idea that sometimes life's greatest blessings come wrapped in its cruelest moments. So, as Emma stands at the threshold of her new life, staring into Ethan's piercing blue eyes, one thing becomes clear. This isn't the end of her story. It's only the beginning. And now, dear viewers, the question remains, will Emma and Ethan find their way to each other despite the odds stacked against them? Or will the shadows of the past prove too powerful to overcome? Stay tuned for the next chapter, where secrets unravel, hearts collide, and destinies are rewritten in ways no one could have imagined. The moment Ethan's lips brushed against Emma's at the altar, a spark ignited that neither of them could ignore. It wasn't just the shock of the impromptu wedding or the weight of what they were doing. It was something deeper, primal, and undeniable. As they stood there under the watchful eyes of their guests, Emma felt her world tilt on its axis. This man who had barely acknowledged her before now held her hand like it was the most natural thing in the world, his touch sending shivers down her spine. But as the ceremony ended and reality began to sink in, doubts crept into Emma's mind. What had she agreed to? Was this really about protecting her dignity, as Ethan claimed, or was there more beneath the surface? Ethan, for his part, seemed calm and composed, but inside, he was waging a war with himself. He had wanted Emma for years, long before Liam ever set his sights on her, but he'd kept his distance, respecting the boundaries of family loyalty. Now fate had handed him an opportunity he never thought possible, and he wasn't about to let it slip away. Yet even as he guided Emma through the reception, introducing her as his wife, with a possessive hand on her lower back, he couldn't shake the fear that she would see through his carefully constructed facade. She deserved honesty, but how could he explain the depth of his feelings without scaring her off? As the night wore on, the cracks in their arrangement started to show. Guests whispered behind their hands, some curious, others skeptical. Sophia Moretti arrived uninvited, her presence a stark reminder of Ethan's past and the kind of woman people expected him to marry. Her cutting remarks about Emma's meteoric rise stung, though Emma tried not to let it show. When Sophia leaned in to whisper, "How long do you think this will last?" Emma forced a smile. refusing to give her the satisfaction of seeing her discomfort. But later, when Ethan found Emma alone on the balcony, staring out at the city lights, he saw the vulnerability she was trying so hard to hide. "You don't have to pretend with me," Ethan said softly, his voice breaking through her thoughts. "I know today wasn't easy for you." Emma turned to face him, her dark eyes searching his. For all his confidence, there was something raw and vulnerable in his gaze that made her heart ache. "Why did you really do this, Ethan?" "Hala!" Said again, the question lingering between them like an unanswered prayer. He hesitated, then admitted, "Because I've always admired you, Emma. Long before today, long before Liam, I saw something in you that no one else did. Something extraordinary." His words sent a rush of conflicting emotions through her. On one hand, she wanted to believe him, to trust that his intentions were pure. But on the other, the secrecy surrounding his actions, the private investigator, the collection of her artwork, left too many unanswered questions. Before she could press further, the sound of raised voices drew their attention. Liam had returned, drunk and desperate, demanding to speak with Emma. The sight of him brought back a flood of memories. The months of planning, the promises he'd made, and the crushing humiliation of being left at the altar. Liam's reappearance threw everything into chaos. He accused Ethan of manipulating the situation, of orchestrating his disappearance to steal Emma away. While Ethan denied the allegations, Emma couldn't ignore the kernel of doubt growing in her chest. Had Ethan truly orchestrated all of this? And if so, what did that mean for their marriage? The tension between the brothers reached a boiling point, culminating in a heated argument that left everyone shaken. As Ethan dragged Liam out of the venue, Emma retreated to the quiet solitude of the penthouse, her mind racing with questions she feared might destroy the fragile connection she and Ethan had begun to build. Over the next few days, the truth slowly came to light. Richard Carter revealed his role in paying Liam to leave, believing Emma to be a gold digger. Meanwhile, documents uncovered by Lily exposed Liam's infidelities during their engagement, painting him as the selfish coward Emma had suspected all along. But the biggest revelation came from Ethan himself. In a moment of unguarded honesty, he confessed to hiring the private investigator, not to spy on her, but to protect her from potential threats, after hearing about anonymous notes she'd received. Following a gallery showing, each piece of the puzzle added complexity to their story, forcing Emma to confront the reality of who Ethan truly was. A man flawed, yes, but also deeply protective and profoundly in love with her. Yet just as things seemed to settle, a new storm brewed. Someone leaked Ethan's emails with the investigator to the press, framing him as a manipulative predator who had plotted to steal his brother's fiancée. Overnight, their lives became tabloid fodder, and the pressure mounted. Board members questioned Ethan's judgment, while critics dismissed Emma as nothing more than a pawn in a billionaire's game. The scrutiny threatened to tear them apart, but instead of retreating, Ethan surprised everyone, including himself, by choosing transparency over secrecy. Together, they decided to tell their story publicly, revealing the truth about their unconventional beginning and the love that had grown from it. The interview aired live on national television, and as Emma watched Ethan speak openly about his mistakes, his admiration for her, and his unwavering commitment to their future, she realized something profound. Their journey hadn't weakened them. It had made them stronger. By the time the segment ended, the tide of public opinion had shifted, and the couple emerged more united than ever. Hand in hand, they faced the world together, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. But the true test of their bond was yet to come. As preparations for the Thompson Gallery opening accelerated, old wounds resurfaced, and new obstacles arose. Would their love withstand the pressures of fame, ambition, and lingering doubts? Or would the foundation they had worked so hard to build crumble under the weight of expectation? With the grand opening just days away, Emma and Ethan found themselves standing on the precipice of their greatest triumph, or their ultimate downfall. The next morning, as sunlight streamed through the windows of their penthouse, Emma woke to find Ethan already awake, watching her with an intensity that made her heart skip a beat. "I've been thinking," he said, his voice low and serious. "About what?" she asked, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "About us, about how far we've come." He paused, taking her hand in his. "When I first stepped into that bridal suite, I thought I was saving you, but it turns out you saved me too. You taught me how to love without reservation, how to trust." Again, after years of keeping everyone at arm's length, Emma felt tears prick her eyes as she realized just how much they had both grown since that chaotic day at the altar. What started as a marriage of convenience had transformed into something neither of them could have predicted. A partnership built on mutual respect, passion, and vulnerability. But there was still one thing left unresolved: the lingering shadow of Liam and the secrets that had shaped their beginning. That afternoon, Emma received a call from Richard Carter. "There's something you need to see," he said, his tone unusually subdued. When they arrived at the Carter family estate, an imposing mansion Emma had only visited once before, Richard handed her a thick envelope. Inside were documents detailing every transaction, every manipulation, and every lie that had led to Liam abandoning her at the altar. It wasn't just Ethan's father who had orchestrated the scheme. Liam himself had played a role, accepting money to disappear while pretending it was all his decision. Ethan's jaw tightened as he read through the papers, his anger palpable. "He used you," Ethan growled, referring to his brother, "and I let him get away with it because I thought I was protecting you." Emma placed a calming hand on his arm. "We can't change the past," she said softly, "but we can decide what happens next." With Ethan by her side, Emma confronted Liam during a tense family meeting arranged by Richard. For the first time, Liam looked genuinely remorseful, admitting that he had never been ready for marriage and had used the payout as an excuse to escape. While forgiveness didn't come easily, Emma realized that holding on to bitterness would only weigh her down. Instead, she chose closure, telling Liam that she wished him well, but wanted nothing more to do with him. As weeks turned into months, life settled into a rhythm that felt authentic and true. The Thompson Gallery flourished under Emma's leadership, becoming a beacon for emerging artists and earning critical acclaim. Ethan continued to support her vision, stepping back when needed, but always ready to offer guidance or encouragement. Their bond deepened, strengthened not just by shared joy, but also by the challenges they had faced together. One evening, as they sat on the terrace of their renovated Brooklyn brownstone, Ethan turned to Emma with a question that caught her off guard. "Do you ever think about expanding the gallery? Maybe opening another location?" She smiled, touched by his enthusiasm for her dreams. "I've thought about it," she admitted, "but only if we do it together." His answering smile lit up his entire face, and in that moment, Emma knew their future would be filled with endless possibilities. On the anniversary of their impromptu wedding, Ethan surprised Emma with a private vow renewal ceremony held in the garden of their brownstone, surrounded by close friends, family, and the art that had brought them together. They exchanged heartfelt promises to cherish, support, and grow alongside each other. This time, there were no secrets, No ulterior motives. Just two people deeply in love, choosing each other with open hearts. As the celebration wound down and guests began to leave, Emma found herself standing beside Ethan, beneath a canopy of twinkling lights. "Do you remember the first time we kissed?" she asked, leaning into him. "How could I forget?" he replied, his arms wrapping around her. "It changed everything." She nodded, feeling the weight of his words settle over her like a warm blanket. "Back then, I never imagined we'd end up here. Happily married, running a gallery that means so much to me, building a life together." Ethan kissed the top of her head, his touch gentle yet possessive. "Life has a way of surprising us," he murmured. "Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best beginnings." Emma tilted her head to look at him, her heart swelling with gratitude for the man who had once seemed untouchable, but had become her greatest ally. "You know what the best part is?" she asked. "What's that?" he replied, his blue eyes soft with affection. "That we're not done yet. There's still so much ahead of us." And as they stood there, wrapped in each other's embrace, Emma knew that their story was far from over. Together, they had weathered storms, uncovered truths, and forged a love strong enough to withstand anything. Their journey had been unconventional, messy, and beautiful, a testament to the idea that sometimes fate intervenes in ways we least expect, guiding us toward the people and places we're truly meant to find. For Emma and Ethan, the future was bright, filled with promise, and the unwavering certainty that they would face it together, hand in hand, hearts intertwined.